Now watch this drive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and more importantly, welcome back to the bench rest of tranquility. The picnic table of knowledge is right over there, so we'll keep it out of frame for today. I'm gonna chill here. So I have just finished up 1,000 rounds on the Gen 6 Glock 17. You may or may not have seen pictures of this on the Instagram or on some of my YouTube shorts. If you haven't, here it is. Guys, I'm going to try to keep this short. At this point, there is nothing that you probably haven't heard about the Gen 6 Glock 19, 17, 45, you know, all of those guys. So I'm just going to go over real quick kind of what I think of it after 1,000 rounds, how it's been, how it's felt, yada, yada, yada. But before I do that, obviously, I'm going to give a shout out to Ozark Armory. Ozark Armory helped me get hooked up with this bad boy right here. And if you saw the last video I put out, they also let me shoot that GM6 Lynx, which was super, super cool. Just ignore me pointing my, my gun down range, talking with my hands. There's nothing down there, no need to worry. But I'll holster it. Anyway, check out Ozark Armory, super cool people, super cool shop. Visit them online. I've got links in my YouTube bio. Check them out. Anyway, let's get back to this Glock here. Let's talk about some features that are different real quick between it and the Gen 5. There really aren't that many. First and foremost, and most importantly in my mind, is going to be the frame here. There's that different texture, really, really nice texture. I'm a big fan of it. It's aggressive. It's got micro kind of stipling and then a little bit bigger blocks that help you really get a good hold. And as you can see, it varies from front to side to rear. Really like that. They've also added a little bit of a ledge here. Some people might call it a gas pedal. To me, it's more of a reference point. For when you're gripping the gun, your thumb can just go right there, and that really helps you kind of know when you've got your grip how you want it. And it does offer a little bit of a ledge that you can kind of push down with that support hand and really hold the gun in place. So really cool. They've done some slight changes on the mag release. It is reversible, I believe. I'm a righty, so I really don't care or about that all that much. So if you're a lefty, maybe double check before you buy one. And then there's also a really cool new backstrap system here. I've got the medium-sized backstrap on here right now. It just clips on the bottom here, and then there's a little pin that you can push out, and it just really helps you size the Glock better for your hands, which I have put the medium on. I've determined that my medium large size hands fit really well with that medium strap. Let's move up to, or actually, you know what? Let's stay down here. Trigger. The trigger is flat. That's really all I got to say about the trigger. It's not much different from the Gen 5. Some people say it's worse, some people say it's better. I don't think it's either. To me, it feels about the same. And then one of the other biggest changes, and in my opinion, one of the most important changes, is we do have a different optics mounting system. Now from the factory, this will mount RMR and DPP optics. I've got a Vortex Defender ST on here right now, and it mounts up really good. And then of course I've got one of the newer Streamlight TLR1 HPXs down here in the bottom, which I like quite a bit. Other than that, there are some slight changes internally. Mostly the recoil spring. Now it's gone back to a kind of more the old school recoil spring. It's not that two-stage double spring, whatever type of setup they had before. And I like this better. To me, this is, I mean, it's been just as reliable, and I think that it makes the recoil feel better. So, other than that, it is still very much Glocky. Not a whole lot has really changed from the Gen 5s to the Gen 4s to the Gen 3s, which is, you know, honestly pretty good. Glocks are, they're great. They're great as they are. So they didn't need to do a whole lot of changes to really make it operate much better, but there are some nice, as you can see, ergonomic changes. And let's talk about how those ergonomic changes perform for me. Like I said, tons of other people have tons of other opinions. This is how it felt for me. Now, when it comes to Glocks, my main experience with Glocks, closest experience to this that I can compare it to are two guns. Sorry, I worded that weird. Just move past it with me, okay? I can compare this to two very similar guns. One is going to be a Gen 5 Glock 19X, okay? Really the only change there is going to be it's got a shorter barrel and some other minor changes that really don't matter, in my opinion. And then also, of course I had to do it to you, my Ruger RXM. Now the RXM is a cheaper gun, but it has many features that the Gen 6 Glock has, and it came out with them before the Gen 6 Glock. So I'm going to compare it to those two guns real quick. And I will say, compared to the RXM and compared to the 19X, ergonomics on this are superior. They've reshaped the grip on this. It's got a little bit of a swell. It's got that new stippling. It's got the new shape. It's got the back strap, and to me, it feels much, much, much better. Not only can you get a good lock in on that texture, you've also got an undercut here, so you can really grip up high. And then you've got this beaver tail back here, so that helps you control your recoil a little bit. Some people don't like this. I really don't know why. I could see if you're concealing it, how that would get in the way of your draw. But for the Glock 17, I'm not really worried about concealing it. That's not what I'm going to be doing with this gun. So, not too worried about that. But ergonomics-wise, it is better. Now, on that Glock 19X in particular, just the shape of the grip itself, it really put a lot of that recoil, I felt like, on this little bone, thumb bone, phalange bone. If you're a doctor or whatever, in the comments, tell me what that is right there. Because that's what the Glock 19X hurt. Because of the shape of the 17 Gen 6, it no longer hurts. So that's cool. And then that coupled with the recoil spring, it is a very soft recoil, in my opinion. I felt like the two-stage spring or that double spring, whatever they had before, I felt like it was snappier. It may or may not have been more reliable. In my experience, it has not been, but you know, whatever. And now let's talk about the trigger as I unholster the gun again. It's a Glock trigger, guys. It's mushy until the wall. You know, I really don't notice a whole lot, if any, more travel once I hit that wall. It's right there. It's very predictable. The shape is nice. It does feel a lot better than that weird kind of pseudo-curved, almost narrower at the apex of the trigger, if that makes sense, feel of the old Glocks. So the trigger it's an improvement, I think, on the shape. If you're wanting a really crisp trigger, you know, you're not going to go to a Glock anyway. Go to something else. Go to like a CZ. My CZ P10, I talk about it all the time. It's got a better trigger. Stock RXM trigger feels a lot like the Gen 6 Glock. So if you shot a stock RXM, you basically shot this. I will say the Gen 6 Glock has a little bit better wall than a stock RXM. That RXM wall is a little bit mushier. Stock, mind you, this is not a stock trigger. I've changed some little springs out here and there. Trigger bar and trigger shoe are all the same, but there's some internals that are different. Stock RXM trigger has a little bit more travel past that wall. This one, as it is, does not. It's got the Tactical Trigger Company, Tactical Trigger LLC. I'll throw up a little thingy here if I get that right. Tactical Trigger LLC trigger upgrade kit. It's like just a couple little springs in there. It changes out, but that's enough of the RXM. Let's get back to the Glock. So, one of the best things about this trigger is going to be the reset. It's really nice. It's very positive. It pushes your finger forward, and it's very loud, and you just know when you're there. So, you know, for a duty handgun, defensive handgun, yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever you want to call this, I think it's a great trigger. It's very predictable. I can make far out shots. I'll try to get a shot of that here in a second. Some more shots of me doing that, but okay, there's a target down there at like 40 or 50 yards, maybe 45. Let's just call it 45. It's right in between. Let's see if I can get it a couple times for you. Okay, so that's 3 and 4 shots at 45 yards. Let's move it back. Let's see if I can get some more. I don't know, 70 yards, 60 yards? Let's call it 60. There was one. There's 2. At this distance, it's not the gun, it's me. But it's possible. I like it a lot. Not the best, not the worst. It's very perfectly adequate, which is how I would describe. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't say Glocks are perfectly adequate. I think they're great. So let's talk about reliability real quick. 1,000 rounds, I've had like 2 malfunctions on this guy.
Stand by. 0.15.
A malfunction that time. They were all just failure to feed, and I will say it was not the Glock magazines that did the malfunctions. I use these PMags for training a lot of the time. Honestly, the PMags work pretty well. I've had no major problems with them, but if you're going to be carrying this in any serious capacity for your job or for home defense or for concealed carry, I would not use these. I would use the standard stock Glock magazines. Of course, this is a 17 rounder. These have been wholly reliable in that 1,000 rounds. So reliability, you know, it's a Glock. I don't really have much to say about it. I didn't torture test it. That's not my style. I really like the things that I own, and I don't want to destroy them. So normal kind of range operations with, I don't know, I've probably cleaned it 2 or 3 times and lubed it 2 or 3 times since I got it. It's been great. Nothing really more to say about that. So let's hit on the accuracy, and then we'll talk about the optics mounting system, because really everything's been good or just pretty okay up until now. The optics mounting system I like, but it's also got some quirks to it, and we'll talk about that. Of course, you probably already know if you pay attention to anything in the firearms world. But accuracy, I think it's stupid accurate. Glock makes great barrels. Mechanical accuracy wise, no problems. I mean, I'm hitting 40 round or 40 yard shots, 60 yard shots pretty regularly. And I'm doing pretty tight groups with this guy as well. You know, it's not a target gun, so I'm not going for, you know, real slow, you know, Turkish marksman type stuff. I'm kind of going for practical, you know, bang, 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 all within the A-zone type accuracy. It's great at that. If I really slow down, I wouldn't say that this trigger is the best target trigger, but you can squeeze off pretty accurate shots and get a group about that big at like 15, 20 yards, which is where I zero my red dots for anyway. So I think the accuracy is great. Are there better out there? Yeah, but you're probably going to spend $2,000 for them, at least $1,000. And they're not going to be as reliable, I bet, because I'm talking about your 2011s, your 1911s. So, yeah, take it for what it's worth. And there's my nice little sweat beating up out here. It's actually somewhat cool Ozark morning. It's 85 degrees with high humidity. We're not in the dead of summer just yet, but we're getting close. So sorry about my sweat stains. Let's talk about the optics mounting. Like I mentioned, RMR, DPP. Listen, I wish that they had done more of the RXM approach, to where the optics just direct mount with like a peg system, hole and peg system. I think that it's more secure on the RXM, to be honest with you. And this will take RMR, DPP, and RMSC footprint optics just direct to the slide. So I prefer this, but this with its plastic shims, which I'll try to show a close-up of. I'm not taking this optic off, sorry, it's zeroed, but I'll try to get a close-up of one and throw it up on screen. Okay, here's that video I told you I was going to cut to in the far future. So this plate, this is for the DPP Vortex Defender here, right? Now, it's interesting because the Vortex Defender has two recoil lug spots, or four recoil lug spots, two in the front, two in the back. And this only has two little lugs. So all the spots aren't quite there, but what I did notice on this Gen 6 Glock, there's a little notch right here in the very back, right there, that you kind of have to load in back to front. And if you can see, sorry, this is really hard to control, that little notch kind of slides into the slide there and kind of keeps that guy from shifting left to right. Now it shifts left to right a little bit, but hopefully once we get the screws in there, it'll hold and hold zero. Now future me ought to have a better answer for this, so I'll throw it back to future me right now. It's kind of weird. It works. 1,000 rounds I've had no loss of zero, and I've been doing lots of racking the slide off of the optic, holstering, unholstering, yada yada yada. Now I haven't banged it on rocks or anything like you'll see some people do, or aggressively, you know, rack it off the slide. But you know, your typical over the top. I've had no loss of zero, and you can see I've got a little witness mark on the front to kind of test my side to side zero. It has stayed perfectly good. And then using optic screws that were supplied with this optic, I think they were 11 millimeters long, maybe 10 or 11. And then the correct shim, plastic shim in here. It is held perfectly fine with Loctite. So I've seen some people say that you'll want to immediately upgrade to a metal shim that more fully takes up the footprint of the optics mounting surface on this slide. Yeah, that'll probably work really well. Personally, I have not had trouble with this, and I've seen a few other people that haven't either. So I think it's just a mixed bag of I wouldn't even want to say a mixed bag. It's really hard to say what is causing some people to have zero problems on this. Maybe they're very, very aggressive. Maybe they're more aggressive than me. Maybe they're shooting more than me. Maybe they're putting it under more stress than me. That very well could be what the problem is. I know that the regular guy training company, who is slightly more autistic than I am, actually maybe a lot more, in a great way. I don't know if you're going to see this video, but I love what you do. He did 6,000 round test minimum on this, and it said it held up fine for him. Other people have not had that luck, so who knows? Yeah, overall, listen, we've talked about the Gen 6 Glocks on the channel before. If you've got a really nice Gen 5 that you love, and you've got it set up how you want with an optic and a light, and I don't know, if you've replaced the trigger and you like the trigger, if you like the stock trigger, that's great too. I like stock triggers on my Glocks, whatever. If you've got a nice one, I wouldn't pay the money for the new one unless you really wanted it. It's great, it's more ergonomic, it's just as reliable, it has a better shaped trigger shoe, not a better trigger itself, but there are some nice quality of life features on this with the frame and the optics mounting that I think are worth it a little bit. So, you know, I can't tell you whether or not to go get one. I wanted one because I didn't have a Glock 17 and I really wanted one, so I just went ahead and went with the new one. That's really all I got for you. Glock 17 Gen 6. I approve. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Perfectly good duty gun, perfectly good carry gun, competition gun. If you train enough with it, yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna be great. You know, that's really all this stuff comes down to. You know, they say, a lot of people have said that the grip angle on this is a problem. It just comes down to training. The grip angle has not been a problem for me, and I shoot with guns that have all various different grip angles, from my CZs to my Ruger to this. So, hate to say skill issue, but it's kind of just a skill issue, I guess. Train with it, you'll get good. You could be shooting a $4,000 2011, and a guy who trains with this more than you will probably shoot better. So, guys, thanks for watching. Unfortunately, my YouTube career is slowing down for the time being. Having a child in a couple months, a first baby. So I don't know how much I'm going to get to post. Hopefully a lot more. I want to work with Ozark Armory more in the future. I'm going to try, but getting out here to the range is unfortunately more of a hassle sometimes than I would like it to be. But I'm going to try. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram or don't. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, whatever. Thank you very much. Peace.